just recommend it to everybody instead of saying it's a personal decision.
Because at present we're doing a risk-based approach.
What's the risk?
The risk, there's always a risk to having any therapeutic, to having any therapeutic.
What's the risk?
Therapeutic versus a benefit. You want to make sure there's a very strong benefit versus the risk. If for an 18-year-old healthy individual, the risk to getting hospitalized if we have no medical illness is very, very low. We know there is a risk, a very small risk, 1 in 5,000 that may get myocarditis,
Throw it
for
in
example.
there. Throw it in the carpet.
And you'd have to have that discussion on the risk-benefit of a complication from the vaccine versus a benefit of decreased hospitalization.
I'm going to play it again. I've played this multiple times. I'm playing it again for a specific reason. It's Vladimir Lenin. I mean, a spoiler alert. We're listening to Vladimir Lenin. Now, I was having an argument. They haven't responded to me on Twitter yet. Where, Joe Rogan said that Justin Trudeau can go eat shit, that he's turned Canada into a communist regime. And then someone says, that red tide scaring you is like, that's 1960s. I'm like, it's not red tide scaring. We're literally being turned into a communist regime up in Canada. The fact that we've got Vladimir Lenin as the chief medical officer of Ontario, it's a very, very bad indication. Like, how do you argue against it when you've literally got Vladimir Lenin telling you to inject yourself with something experimental? It's a therapeutic, according to Dr. Kieran Moore. That's who this dude is. Let's play this out one more time.
Just recommend it to everybody instead of saying it's a personal decision.
Because at present we're doing a risk-based approach.
What's the risk?
What's the risk? What? I'm glad you asked that question, Mr. Journalist, whoever the hell you are. 2 years late. What's the risk? Safe and effective. A vaccine. What's the risk? Let's hear it from Dr. Kieran Moore, YouTube overlords. No medical advice, no election fortification advice. Go F yourselves. This is from Dr. Kieran Moore. What's the risk of this therapeutic from Dr. Kieran Moore?
The risk, there's always a risk to having any therapeutic, to having any therapeutic.
Remember when we were called conspiracy theorists for saying it's not a vaccine, it's a therapeutic? I actually was late to the boat on that one. Remember when we were called conspiracy theorists for saying it's experimental until we all discovered that was actually on the NIH's website? Some are claiming COVID-19 vaccines are not vaccines. I could have sworn I just heard Vladimir Lenin, Dr. Kieran Moore, Chief Medical Officer of Ontario, refer to it as a therapeutic. That was my edit, but let's just do it one more time.
Therapeutic versus a benefit. You want to make sure there's a very strong benefit, versus the risk. If for an 18-year-old healthy individual, the risk to getting hospitalized if we have no medical illness is very, very low. We know there is a risk, a very small risk, 1 in 5,000.
Do you hear that? That's like a disgusting, filthy used car salesman. There's a very small issue with the car. It had a minor car accident. But go ahead and buy it. There's a very small risk, 1 in 5,000. 1 in 5,000 is not a very small risk, Vladimir Lenin. Like a filthy used car salesman just slipping in the fact that, oh yeah, the car was once totaled. It's a very small thing. Once totaled, buy it. It's good. It's a good car.
Is very, very low. We know there is a risk, a very small risk, 1 in 5,000 that may get myocarditis.
Just a very small risk, 1 in 5,000. Just throw it in there. Hey, go get your kid to go get the jibby jab. Very, very small risk, 1 in 5,000. It's so small. Give me a jar of 5,000 jelly beans with one being poison, and I will take that jar and I will tell you to go shove it where the sun don't shine. Sun don't shine. Shun don't shine. Oh my goodness. It says I'm up on Rumble but not on Locals. I'll tell you why. Hold on a second before we even keep going. Oh my sweet merciful goodness. Okay, that has nothing to do with the outage today. Okay, hold on. Switch to RTPM. Oh, everybody, I ask you if I'm forgetting anything, and you all say, no, Viva, you're not forgetting anything. Hold on. I'm forgetting I didn't add the RTPM from Locals. We're going to do that right now because we're up on Rumble, which is a good sign. Loc, boom shakalaka, and save changes. So long as we're up on Rumble, that means the problems have been resolved. And now we should be up on Locals. vivabarneslaw.locals.com. That was my bad. That was my bad because in the haste, I'm sitting there eating dinner, chilling with the kid, and then I get the news that, oh, hey, Rumble's back up. I'm like, well, dude, we're going live. Son, I know you're watching something on television. I'm gonna go live. You can continue watching. Very small risk, just 1 in 5,000. And if it's your kid, 1 in 5,000, well, yeah, that very small risk just became a life-altering catastrophe. But no, it's a very small risk, because after all, what were your risks of a young, healthy 18 to 30-year-old male young person of being hospitalized from COVID? Nil, virtually nil, to the point of being nil. Very small. 1 in 5,000. Do the bloody math, people. 1 in 5,000 is 2 in 10,000, is 20 in 100,000, is 200 in a million. So go vaccinate 1 million young people, and 200 will have a very myocarditis. What's that? Oh, it doesn't matter. It's a mild case. It goes away, right? Scum of the earth, filthy communists. Now, why do I bring this up? Set aside the argument that I'm having with someone on Twitter about whether or not Canada has gone full commie. I mean, I guess in a way, the entire world has gone full commie. So what's the big deal that a small, the hat of America has gone commie? Yeah, no big deal. I mean, they locked us down for 3 years. They told us what we had to put in our bodies. They told us when we could leave our houses. They locked up freaking basketball nets outside. They locked up outdoor dog runs. They froze our bank accounts. They gave us excessive fines for absolutely nothing. They held political prisoners. They held political sham kangaroo court trials. Oh, okay, but it's not as bad as, Nazi Germany or Stalin Russia. Maybe not. Although we got Vladimir Lenin telling us to go take an experimental jibby jab that has, very, very low risks, 1 in 5,000. Why did I start with that? Not because Kieran Moore is Vladimir Lenin, a communist, giving us medical advice, but because he's back in the news. Why? Here he is. Ontario's top doctor. So YouTube, at the risk of swearing, to the YouTube overlords, I've got 2 middle fingers for you. You want to say, oh, Viva's a conspiracy theorist, disinformation purveyor. I didn't call it a therapeutic. Ontario's top doctor did. I didn't say the risks of myocarditis were 1 in 5,000. Ontario's top doctor did. Sure, he looks like Vladimir Lenin because he's a filthy communist working for a filthy communist dictator, Justin Trudeau, although he's at the provincial level, so, there's that layering. Oh, it's not Justin Trudeau, this is provincial, whatever. I'll read an article from the Toronto Star, which is dated December 9th, 2 days ago. Ontario's top doctor sounds alarm, not on the jibby jab, not on the therapeutic that causes myocarditis in 1 in 5,000 young, healthy adults. No, on COVID wave. In a, quote, call to action, end quote, Dr. Kieran Moore, the filthy commie that you just saw, Vladimir Lenin's fill-in, is urging more people, especially older adults, he's attenuated his position, to get vaccinated again ahead of the holiday season. Look at him. Dr. Kieran Moore, Ontario's chief medical officer, says there is already a high level of COVID activity across. There's a high level of COVID activity? Let's just assume that we now agree that COVID is a cold. Yeah. It's the flu season, you filthy prop. Oh, I'm sorry, is this the Toronto Star? Yeah, this is the same shit rag that sat out there and said that unvaccinated people don't deserve hospital beds, that we're done feeling sorry for the unvaccinated. Yeah, this is the same government-sponsored Pravda hellhole rag. I'm not even going to go into it. With COVID once again surging in Ontario and hospitalizations of people testing positive, surpassing a 1-year high. A 1-year high. Too few older adults have received the updated COVID vaccine, prompting the province's top doctor to sound the alarm in a, quote, call to action. Can he get sued for this? No. Can Pfizer get sued for anything? No. Because they immunize them while they rush-produce this experimental therapeutic that causes myocarditis in 1 in 5,000. And that was 2 years ago, by the way. You know what the numbers are? Probably not that good. I hate him. I can't look at his face anymore. I can't look at his face anymore, except to highlight the fact that, what did they say? There's the old expression, nomen es omen. There's an omen in the name, like the name means something. So does the freaking face. This is not Photoshop. This is not Justin Trudeau. Is he the son of Fidel Castro? You know, like, that's Dr. Kieran Moore. That's a screenshot, saved image from whatever the hell. And this is communist Vladimir Lenin. So now I'm saying it's a joke. It's not a joke because it's not funny. Set aside the glasses. I mean, I guess in Soviet Russia, your eyes work perfect. I mean, Vladimir Lenin could be blind right here, but in Soviet Russia, you don't use glasses because you don't show weakness of country, yeah? This is Dr. Kieran Moore. This is Vladimir Lenin. Kieran Moore. Vladimir Lenin. It's not just that they look the same. It's that Dr. Kieran Moore, in all of his wisdom, said, you know, the Hitler mustache is very unpopular these days. If I were to give myself a little Hitler mustache, you know, my beard is white. I don't have any hair. I don't really look like Hitler. But gosh darn it, if I don't look like Vladimir Lenin. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to trim my goatee right there. I'm going to trim my mustache to make sure that I look like a living incarnate of Vladimir Lenin. Why? Because I'm a filthy communist and I work for a filthy communist government, and it's not by accident. You know, Dr. Kieran Moore doesn't wake up in the morning and say, my goodness, would you look at that? I look a lot like Vladimir Lenin. No, it's a conscientious decision. You think it's a coincidence? Oh no, I think it's deliberate. Dr. Kieran Moore loves the power. After telling you of the risks that your child can suffer a life-altering illness, you still do it. You know why? Because we are collective. I'll say we, because I got 2 of these things. Last one in August 2021. Collectively, we are idiots who make terrible decisions when we are living in fear. Collectively, Canadians are living in fear. They're living in fear. They're living under tyranny. And any jackass who says that, oh, that's exaggerating the fear of communism in Canada, you're a jackass. You're living in fear. You are deluding yourself to justify to yourself everything that you have sacrificed, everything that you've done to yourself in the name of the fear that you thought would just, if I just did this, I would stop being fearful. If I just did this, I would get my freedom back. If I just did this, my neighbors would love me. And you know what you learned after all that? They flipping lied to you all along. Let me just make sure that we're live on Locals, Rumble. We're live on Rumble. Let me make sure that we're live on Locals. Oh, I like seeing Alex Jones's fist in the air more than I like seeing my ugly face. We're live on all platforms, people. I wanted to go live earlier today, but there was a massive directed, sophisticated, coordinated attack on Rumble for the better part of the weekend into today. I was watching Rumble this morning. I saw a bit of Steven Crowder. My wheels are turning a little slowly. I saw a bit of Steven Crowder. The big news of the day was Alex Jones is back on Twitter. And I'm like, maybe that's why Rumble is under the cyber attack. Maybe not. Hold on. Let me go see what I can get here. My Twitter thingy things is exploding, but I just want to see if I can pull up something. Because I'm a neurotic, pathologically neurotic, I will not say anything, and I will not even accidentally say anything that I'm not allowed to say. The knowledge that I have in the back of my brain, that no one knows that I have, because no one would know that I have it unless I somehow, I don't know, like surreptitiously slip me LSD and then maybe I'll start talking. This is on Twitter. Pavlovsky replying to my tweet. My tweet, I was planning to go live, but Rumble and Locals are down. I go in there and say, like, why can't I upload a live stream to Locals or Rumble? Okay. Apparently, it's a massive, unprecedented attack, one that is likely politically motivated. If I have updates, I'll let everybody know. Okay, fine. Pavlovsky, shortly thereafter, says, I can confirm that this attack has been unprecedented and has been happening since the weekend, which might predate Alex Jones being allowed back onto Twitter, so that you want to timeline that. I also suspect it is political, coming from activists and or organizations who want to censor our creators, and related to January 6 videos being posted on Rumble. Can we all just take a step back and understand what that means? I left my kid in front of a television. I have no idea what the hell's going on in the other room. It's like, dude, I'm going live. Don't bother me, but I can hear through the wall. Can we understand what that means? Like, we're living in a world now, and we're going to get into it, where Alex Jones has been banned from Twitter for 5 years based on lies. Allowed back onto Twitter. We'll agree or disagree with whether or not we like Elon Musk doing a poll to let him back on. I saw what Steven Crowder had to say about that. My personal opinion, Elon was letting Alex Jones, InfoWars, and Owen Schroyer back on, regardless of what that poll said. The poll was for show and for showmanship. We're living in a world where they are going after the platforms that allow for free speech, that allow for open discourse, that allow for open dialogue, and that allow for truth. Period. That this is an attack on Rumble is a sign as to how successful Rumble is, has been, will continue to be, and what a threat Rumble is, not to YouTube necessarily, to the political, ideological narrative. It's nuts. When you have like what are the DDoS, a directed, I don't know what DDoS stands for. When you have a coordinated attack, consistent, lasting days, sophisticated to the point where the team that works at Rumble can't necessarily quell it or address it in real time without going down for a few hours. You take the flack when you're over the target, whatever the expressions of the cliches are. They're not doing this to YouTube. They're not doing this to TikTok as far as I know. Why? Because they're spouting political bullshit on TikTok. Because they're spouting political narrative on YouTube. They're going after Twitter. They're going after Rumble. They're going after Pavlovsky. Not so much personally yet. Dude, as far as I know, him as clean as a whistle. It's, I mean, you're not going to get pictures of Pavlovsky, at nightclubs. I don't know, in Indonesia. Not that I'm suggesting anyone else, I don't know who else. Jack Dorsey. Pavlovsky's a good man. Period. Full stop. So, in as much as they're going after Rumble the way they're going after Rumble, you know that Rumble's doing something right to many and wrong to some. And the wrong to the some are the gatekeepers, the narrative controllers, the purveyors of propaganda and disinformation. I sound like I'm going crazy. I might very well be. It doesn't matter. Like I've said to my wife, a happy life is about finding someone to go crazy with together. We go crazy at the same wavelength, and it's good. George Soros. I'm not saying that George Soros has anything to do with it, except for the involvement in the election of Fani Willis, the governor of Colorado who appointed the judge in the Trump case there, Alvin Bragg. Who's the other one? He was involved with Tish James there. Oh, George Soros. Call me anti-Semitic, you dumbasses. See where that goes. Yeah. George Soros is a subversive force who needs to no longer be allowed to carry the political, financial weight that he carries in American and international politics. Full stop. Call me anti-Semitic. I don't care. All right. Where was I? Going after Rumble. Can you imagine Rumble, this piddly far-right extreme website that has Andrew Tate on it and all these people? Oh, it's such a insignificant, irrelevant, far-right extremist platform that they need to have a concerted, directed, coordinated, sophisticated attack on Rumble to take it down. You know what that means? Chris, Rumble, congratulations, you're over the target. And congratulations, you're public enemy number one to the powers that be that want to control the narrative. Which brings us into the actual substance of tonight's stream. Short notice. By the way, just so you know, tomorrow I'm going live with, I have not yet gotten permission to use the individual's name, but I'm going live with someone who's going to run us through the NCI, the National Citizens Inquiry final report. So that's going to be tomorrow. And so I wanted to do this stream today because, not just because Alex Jones is back on Twitter and it's big news. Dude, it was in the books. It was in the books as of Friday. If I don't do this stream today, tomorrow I'm going to cover the National Citizens Inquiry final report. We're going to talk about the impact of that. And then by Wednesday, who the hell knows what's going to happen? Donald Trump is going to have to file his response to Jack Smith's expedited motion for appeal to the Supreme Court. So we're going to have to deal with that by Wednesday. Alex Jones is back on Twitter. Holy shit. By the way, just so you know, I'll say one thing. This is how I know that I'm disciplined, and this is how you should all know that I'm disciplined. I poured this martini about, what time is it? An hour ago. And then I saw that Rumble was up, and I said, well, forget this. I'm going to put that aside. This martini glass that my wife got me that is so poorly balanced, it will spill over and break at the slightest sneeze. I was like, forget that. I'm going to drink that while we do the stream. Get it set up so that we can talk about Alex Jones being back on Twitter. The meltdown to end all meltdowns. I did a vlog today while Rumble was down. I did a vlog in the car with the dog. A vlog with the dog. Better drink that martini now. Greasing the wheels, careful out there. Oh, sorry, hold on one second. It was this. Better drink that martini now. I did a vlog breaking down. It's an amazing thing. The liars, the snakes, the ignorant, the ignoramus, the willfully blind are all like, it's like flooding a swamp to some extent, and then the animals that survived on the oxygen, they have to come to the surface. It's probably not the best analogy. Okay, this is the analogy. When you put Vaseline over botflies on your body, and those filthy little parasites that were sitting in your body, sucking up the oxygen, eating your flesh, and breathing, and then you slab some Vaseline over it, and then like, where'd my oxygen go? I need to get to the surface. And then you know where the parasites are when you slab Vaseline over your skin, and you see the parasites rise to the surface. We're seeing the parasites rise to the surface in real time, spewing their parasitism and their disinformation. Some people are of good faith ignorance. Others are pathological liars. Elon Musk, Owen Schroyer, InfoWars, back on Twitter after the poll. They would have been back on regardless. Now let me just see what was going on, because there was a question as to whether or not InfoWars was back to being InfoWars _TV. It says this account is still temporarily frozen. Doesn't matter. We'll get there in a second. Alex Jones has been let back on. You would think it's as though the leaders of Hamas or Hezbollah or Iran have been allowed back on Twitter. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. They've always been on Twitter. You would have thought it's like, the found liable for wrongful death O.J. Simpson was allowed back. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. He's back on Twitter. You would have thought, can I go on? I can't remember the name of the guy who tried to kill Reagan. There are actual murderers. There are actual terrorists. There are actual terrorist organizations on Twitter, and the left, the privileged, the purveyors of disinformation are melting down because Alex Jones let back onto. Oh my goodness! Do I do it right now? I was going to break into it slowly, but later on. Hold on. Look at this, David Levitt, the guy who complained about a flippin' toothpaste. How many innocent people will be murdered because Elon Musk allowed Alex Jones back on Twitter? David Levitt, you sound like a goddamn psychopath. Is that a threat? Because it sort of sounds like a threat. How many innocent people will be murdered because Elon Musk just let Alex Jones? Because David Levitt's thinking, my toothbrush finger is feeling very, very triggery. It's feeling itchy right now. How many people will be murdered because Elon Musk let Alex? David Mamet's every fear hides a wish. That's the every fear hides a wish. David Levitt, other than being an unhinged, deranged psychopath, and yes, I know about the Mark Twain expression, judge a man by the adjectives he habitually uses to describe others, confession through projection. People can say, Viva, you're the unhinged psychopath because you're calling someone else the unhinged psychopath. No. You know why? Because I have insight. And I say, I'm accusing someone of being an unhinged psychopath. I know that they're going to do that to me. Am I an unhinged psychopath? No. I might be unhinged. I might have many self-diagnosed mental issues. I'm not a psychopath. I actually suffer from something called hot empathy, which is the absolute opposite of psychopathy. Not only do I not have feelings for other people, I have feelings for other people that they don't have for themselves, not in the sick, perverted sense. As in, I feel bad for David Levitt. That man is sick in the head, deranged, unhinged, ignorant, ill-informed, propagandist, liar, deceitful, and he has no qualms about it. And yet I still feel bad for him. how many people are going to be murdered because Alex Jones was back on. Here's a big number, a big fat bagel, David Levitt. And I'm not saying that because he's Jewish. I'm saying that because I'm Jewish. A big fat bagel or a donut or a goose egg, whatever you want to go with. 0. Unless, David Levitt, you and your psychopathy and your dog whistling and you're hearing dog whistles everywhere are sending out a dog whistle, there should be violent revolt. Violent revolt because Elon Musk let Alex Jones back on Twitter. And I think that's what it is. I feel bad for the guy. Doesn't mean he's not evil. Well, let's go to another one of David Levitt. Elon Musk just said he's prepared to go to prison. I'm prepared for him to go there too. A murderous, threatening, violent, communist psychopath. That is David Levitt. Does that mean I don't feel bad for him? A man who's sitting there saying, what do I need to do to retain relevance? What do I need to do to maintain my base, to placate my vitriolic, ballistic base? Well, I better make it seem as though innocent people are going to get murdered because Elon Musk let back onto Twitter Alex Jones, despite the fact that Hezbollah, Hamas, terrorist organizations, criminally innocent but civilly liable O.J. Simpson is back on Twitter. Oh, no. Alex Jones is the true threat. And what you realize, by the way, real fast, is that people are idiots. Now, I put out a vlog. Go check out the vlog. I'm going to upload it to Rumble as soon as I'm done with this because Rumble wasn't working. People are idiots. And I say this including myself. Do you want to know what an idiot I am? I'll tell you what an idiot I am. I took 2 of those fucking shots. I'm sorry. I swore, and I didn't even tap into this yet. I took 2 of those shots. Why? I knew that there was risk. I knew that I'm a healthy person. I'm in shape. I'm a 8.5% body fat, jog every day, although I'm slowing down. I knew that there was risk. But I said to myself at the time, when I was succumbing to not peer pressure, but maybe other external pressure, David, get the shot. If you died, everyone would make fun of you on the internet. I said to myself, well, how risky could it be? How dangerous could it be? It's just, it's a vaccine. It's a vaccine. And I heard the words at the time of Robert Malone, spike protein. I was like, okay, I don't know what that is. I'm at a point right now where, as Barnes always says, Robert Barnes, vivabarneslaw.locals.com, my partner in crime when it comes to legal content. I texted him earlier today and I said, Barnes, what's the expression? Motivation is the driver of reason. And he says, no, Viva. Motivation is the master of reason. But driver works too. But that's not the motivation is the master of reason. What does that mean? It means that once you've made a decision in your mind, you'll find a way to rationalize it. I had made the decision on my mind. Look, people are annoying me. I hear voices and not the psychopath voices. I mean, people just get it. All right, I'm going to do it. And now I got to find a way to rationalize it to myself. We're going to go, we got to trade in our Jeep and get a new car. I really want an impractical car that is horrible on fuel efficiency, but motivation is the... Hold on, I forgot the expression already. What's my problem? Motivation is the master of reason. I know the car's fuel inefficient. I know the car is absolutely gaudy. I know it's ridiculous, but I want it. And so I'll say, okay, well, I'll find a way to rationalize it to myself. I'm an idiot as well. Took 2 of those shots. If I knew then what I knew now, never in a million years. You'd have to tie me down to a table. But I found a way to rationalize it to myself at the time. There are people out there, and I know some of them, friends, family, who say Alex Jones is a terrible person. How can you let him back on Twitter? Well, what did he say? Oh, he said that Sandy Hook never happened. He said that they were crisis actors. He sent his mob of millions of followers to go harass the parents. He's an awful, awful human being, and he deserves to be sanctioned and ordered to pay $1 billion in damages in civil defamation. Yeah. People are idiots because motivation is the master of reason. And they've already believed it. They've already convinced themselves of certain things. And it's much easier to rationalize, reaffirm those improper gotten thoughts in their mind than it is to say, holy shit, I've been lied to. I was an idiot. I made a mistake. You know what I say to myself? I'm not going to get angry. Oftentimes, holy shit, I was an idiot. I made a mistake. And I just hope, but for the grace of God, the consequences as relate to me, spare me. And then you have to realize that there will be many others out there who will not be spared. And so in as much as, okay, I might be fortunate. Hot empathy. So, yeah, 1.5 billion. 1.5 billion. That just, it makes sense. 90 million to the FBI agent. Didn't have a kid get killed in Sandy Hook. Didn't have a brother, sister, father, mother, or whatever get killed in Sandy Hook. He was just made fun of by Alex Jones. And he got $90 million. Oh yeah, no, make it make sense. And so there's people out there who they're thoroughly convinced they know who Alex Jones is. I was that way myself in 2016. By 2018, I started saying, what do I know? Maybe I don't know anything. And then I listened to the Alex Jones deposition in the Sandy Hook case. That was one of the first viral legal analyses videos that I ever put out. Sitting on my roof, wearing sunglasses like a jackass, analyzing Alex Jones's deposition. And I remember hearing in the backdrop, "You do great work, Mr. Barnes." And I had no idea at the time who Barnes was. I had no idea at the time, even after having interviewed Robert Barnes, that was the Barnes. I knew what I thought of Alex Jones. I was scared to have Alex Jones on my channel. On the one hand, because of what my friends and family would say. How could you have that monster on your channel? He literally killed children at Sandy Hook. There are people out there who believe that he's responsible for the death of the children at Sandy Hook. So I remember what I felt. I remember what I thought. I remember what I felt thinking at the time. And I remember what I know now, which is a lot easier. And I'm like, holy crap, Viva. They fooled you. They fooled you on Alex Jones. They fooled you on the jab. They fooled you on 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Although, in fairness to me, I got over that one real quick. We get fooled because we are human. And if you don't admit it, you're probably human as well. And if you do admit it, you're a smart human. You're above average. You must be a member of our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community. So they let Alex Jones back on Twitter, and people are melting down. When do we go over to Rumble? We'll go over after this. No, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to save the tweet response for when we go over to Rumble. For now, I'm just going to read a few super chats. It's about depopulation by any means necessary. I'm not your buddy guy. I know you. I mean, I don't know you in real life, but I know you from the internet. You're a smart guy. Once upon a time, I would have said, that's crazy. Now, you would have to be an arrogant, pompous prick to say that any conspiracy, so-called conspiracy theory, is crazy. I mean, you got Bill Gates talking about it. You got... I can't say that that's crazy, nor would I have the arrogance, pomposity, or presumptuousness to say that that's crazy anymore. Why? Because what I thought was crazy 3 years ago has turned out to be true. And it would take a stubborn person who learns nothing to say, oh yeah, 3 years ago I said the idea of a man-made virus in Wuhan, China, and the government lying about it, and then lying about a vaccine that's going to cure you. That would be crazy. And now I realize that's all been true. To say that this is untrue and crazy, you'd have to not learn from your mistakes. I learned from my mistakes. I learned from my mistakes faster than I learned from other people's mistakes. Sergeant Willie says, you're right. Twin sons of different mother. I think that's going back to Vladimir Lenin and Dr. Kieran Moore. Not a banned account. The Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine shouldn't be banned from children 5 months and younger. The life-saving technology should be for neonatal care. All right. Once upon a time, I couldn't tell if not a banned account was a troll or not. And this is the time to say, cheers. It's warm. It's warm. It was a lot colder before when I poured it. Not a banned account. Just so everybody knows, he tries to pass himself off as not a troll account. He's a troll account. And not a troll, satire. Sorry, not like a troll in a bad way. Hilarious. Yeah, no. 6 months and up. 6 months and up. And there are people who did it. There are people who were duped into it the first time around. And what do they have to do in order to live with the shame and the fear of having been duped into risking the lives of the ones that they brought onto this earth to care for and love? What do they have to do? They have to find a way to bury that deceit deep down and say, I did the best I could, and I'm going to live with that lie. Even if it means re-exposing to the risk now, because if you don't do the booster for 6 months and over, like Hochul says. If you don't do the booster now, it means you recognize you shouldn't have done it then. And then what does that mean? It means you expose them then to something that you won't expose them to now. So what do you got to do now? You got to jack them up with the booster. Hey, Valérie Plante, Montreal mayor, vax to the max, Ottawa lawyer. The other journalist there, I won't mention her name. I don't want to get, in Journal de Montréal's bad books. How many shots have you had? Tell us. You collapse on TV. You enforce a vaccine passport to get into City Hall. I'm entitled to ask you how many shots you've had and when was your last one. Double down, triple down, quadruple down. Because if you say, I'm not taking another one, it probably means you should have taken the first 3. Although, just to give everyone the out, you could rationalize the argument. Say, I took the first 3 because it was for the original strain. We didn't know what we know now. So, look, I forgive myself for making a mistake then and cross my fingers. May I live. No. Other people, in order to rationalize and to subdue the original mistake, they have to keep making more of the same mistakes. And then they say, look, not a big deal. I did it 5 more times. So how dangerous could it have been the first time? It's that analogy from the Rwandan genocide with the children soldiers. And they said, the idea as to them killing more and more people. And some people say that, they become desensitized so children soldiers can kill more and more. That's the wrong way to look at it. The right way to look at it is they keep killing more and more to try to quell, subdue, bury the trauma from the first kill. And it never works. That's the problem. Okay. Did I put the pin? Let me just see if I did this. I did put the pin link there. Good. What we're going to do, because we're going to now take this. Rumble's back, and I'm not a copy. Hold on a second. I'm not going to go live on YouTube because the DDoS attack on Rumble works. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait. And I was going to wait until tomorrow, do 2 streams tomorrow, but no, it's back up now. What we're going to do now, everyone on YouTube, let's go over to Rumble. Okay, there are 1,580 people here. Hold on, let me see this. I just came across one. I'm going to see this. Why would you celebrate return? Not like you make a mistake. This was a project of his false theory on a plainly seeable event. Sorry, he back, but don't celebrate his return. All right, well, everyone's entitled to their opinion. What we're going to do here, the link one more time. This is to Rumble. And then we're going to link to locals. And then I'm going to see when I get in trouble with my wife. You're banned on Rumble? Battle Camp? I don't know what happened there. Battle Camo? Go to vivabarneslaw.locals.com. $7 a month, $70 a year. As of the new year, it's going to be $10 a month, $100 a year. So get locked in now if you want to become a supporter. You don't have to become a supporter. You can just become a member. And you enjoy a lot of stuff, but not all the stuff. Because there is stuff that is reserved exclusively for those who actually support what Robert and I do. Robert Barnes and myself. I want to bring this one up because I actually saw it. I saw this. Oh, here. Never tested, never jabbed. Good for you. And I say this with absolutely no resentment. At some point, and by the way, this might be me rationalizing the involuntary risk that I took. It was actually sort of a joke where I think it was Sarah Silverman that said, come on, dude, you've smoked weed that you found on the ground. You've done coke that you found in a Vegas bathroom. You could take the jab. This is true. I say, I will not inject that poison into my body yet again, but I'll drink down, what do I have here? A very tall patch gin. I'll say, I'm not taking another shot, but I'll take something that is widely recognized to be poison, alcohol. That's true. And that's how one rationalizes the mistake. Well, I did it, but there's a lot of other things I do that are bad for me as well. Fine. Flip side, you don't have to compound the risks that you take in life. And it's true, alcohol is bad, but it's been around for thousands of years, and we know the badness that it is, and, it can be tailored. But that is just to say, that's the way I rationalize things to myself. Yeah, sure, look, okay, like we go out into a smoggy day and you inhale the air. Bad for you. I don't put on suntan lotion. I get the sun. Bad for you. But then flip side, suntan lotion. I'm convinced it's bad for you. I'm just meandering now. A little Jin Huyn says trans orangutan. It's a good looking orangutan. The alcohol is regulated better more than likely. Yeah. So that's it. Anyways, we all find a way to rationalize our own mistakes to ourselves. Good. We're down to 1,300 people on YouTube. We're leaving now. Come on over to Rumble or come on over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com. And I'll be starting with No, not David Levitt's psychotic tweet. This one is Ryan Sheed. Or if you look at his Twitter handle, it looks like Ryan's head. Ryan Sheed spreading the disinformation about Alex Jones. It's not a celebration. It's actually just Schadenfreude. It's Schadenfreude, peeps. Alex Jones is back and the left is melting down. Come on over to Rumble right now. Viva Frei on Rumble, vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Ending on YouTube because they don't deserve us here and they are not worthy of our